So for today's lecture, we are going to start with the next topic, that is virtualization versus cloud computing. As we already know what do you mean by virtualization since we have studied the topic previously, even we have studied the cloud computing. Now we are going to just take the verses that how it is different from each other, because these are the two terminologies which are you will mostly see whenever you talk about the subject that is cloud computing. So are they different or they are same? We are going to look into this particular section. So first we are going to start with virtualization. So if I talk about virtualization, as we all know, this is help you to create the virtual version of anything. Okay, your environments which are virtually created. That can be your physical network, it can be your hardware, it can be your software, that can be your virtualization. Okay, okay. Next we have is cloud computing. So if I talk about cloud computing, it simply refers that here you are going to do the computing over the cloud. All your services which you are going to provide to your consumers that are going to be over the cloud. So all your resources, your platforms, everything are going to be stored over the cloud. And as per the customer's requirement or consumer requirement, you are going to provide that services. Basically, cloud delivery models are there, which is your as infrastructure as a service, PaaS platform as a service, and SaaS that is software as a service. So these are the three categories of cloud computing delivery platforms which will help you to deliver services or you can say resources or platforms or applications to the user on demand. On demand is something which is very much important if you talk about in cloud computing. And there is one more thing which is important, that is pay per use. Whatever you're going to use, you're going to only pay for it in terms of cloud computing. So cloud here simply refers that you're going to store the data over the cloud and all the services you're going to provide with the help of the cloud to your consumers. Next, if I talk about virtualization, it usually use hypervisors, and with this hypervisors, you can connect directly to the hardware of the host. Okay, and even you can split this into different separate or secure environments, which are usually termed as VMs, that is virtual machines. In case of cloud computing, you are going to use different types of cloud. Your resources, your services are going to be sourced from the clouds. As we know, there are three categories of clouds: public clouds, private clouds, and hybrid clouds. So you are going to provide the services and resources to your consumer. Mostly we go for a public cloud. Private cloud is maintained by the private companies, and hybrid is a combination of the two, which is mostly not used. So public clouds are something which is very much common, where you are going to provide pools of services or resources, you can say, with the help of those clouds. Next, if we talk about in virtualization, we usually rely on hypervisors because hypervisors is referred as a key important element in virtualization because they are the one which will help you to separate your host machine resources from the hardware, and it is going to distribute them evenly, or you can say properly the work distribution will be done by them amongst the different VMs which you are going to create. In case of cloud computing, we talk about everything works on one concept, that is users on demand. Whatever user are demanding, whatever services they are asking for, whatever resources they are asking for, applications they are going for, the cloud delivery model they are asking for, you have to provide that. So mostly whatever we provide the services, it is usually supported by automatic scaling. This we are going to look into the next topic ahead. Okay. As of now, I'll just give you a small introduction about it. So if I talk about automatic scaling, all your load balancing, like the load among the different you can say machines or resources are going to be evenly balanced here. That is called as automatic scaling. Anything which is coming up randomly, it is going to be managed well. The automatic words refers to doing the work automatically, and scaling refers to easily adding the resources and easily removing the resources. Next, we have dynamic resource allocation. This is another technique which is used in cloud computing, which will help you to dynamically allocate the resources. At any point of time, you can allocate the resources and it will be balanced among the different environments, different consumers, you can say, or the different people who are asking for that particular resources. So we are going to look into more points in the next slide. Let's move ahead. So if I talk about in terms of definition, virtualization is a technology. And if we talk about cloud computing, it is methodology. Okay. So the main purpose of virtualization, it will help you to create multiple simulated environments. So you can say virtual environments from one physical hardware system that is nothing but your host machine. Wherein if I talk about cloud computing, it is full of resources, or which of type virtual, and which are given to the users on demand. Whatever they are going to demand, they are going to get that services, and there is going to be a pool of services, and these services are going to be there saved over the cloud. If I talk about usage, virtualization is basically delivered resources to specific users for the specific purpose whenever they want virtualization, because we have categories of virtualization: hardware virtualization, software virtualization, storage virtualization. So we have different categories of virtualization, and every category have a specific purpose with it. So the users, whatever want to have that particular service or purpose, accordingly they are going to select that particular package and it will be delivered, and accordingly the resources will also will be delivered. In cloud computing, we are basically going to deliver resources. Those resources are going to be stored over the cloud, so there can be shared resources multiple users can use at a single point of time if there is a public cloud. Okay, if there is a private cloud, then the few people will only have an access to it. So here you can provide so resources at a single point of time to multiple user whenever you are using a shared medium, that is nothing but a public. If I talk about configuration in virtualization, we have image based, because here we are going to always work with ISO files, image files of your operating systems, your applications. So here mostly the configuration becomes with image based. If we talk about cloud computing, here we have a template based. The reason why we have a template base here, because your cloud architectures, the delivery models are constant, like as fast as they are constant. Okay, the template is already created for them. Only the users have to make a check against the resources which they want, and accordingly that particular resources will be loaded for them or will be made available for them. That is why it is a template base, where under as whatever resources are coming, it's already there in the template. Similarly for SaaS and similarly for the PaaS. So me as a user have to select what services or what resources I want under this particular delivery model, and accordingly I will be given that service. That is why it is template based. In virtualization, if we talk about the lifespan, it is goes for a longer time. Once you have virtualized, if your VMs are saved with you, you can use it, reuse again and again, and that is a long-term investment. If you talk about cloud computing, this is always going to be short term. You cannot expect this to be long term, because your requirements are going to keep changing. There will more resources will be added. So it is something which is short term. Okay, because it is virtual resources. It is not something which is a physical resources. So you can't assume your virtual resources to be long term, because the market requirements are going to change. Everybody's requirement is going to change. Okay, so it is hours to months. It is a short term. If I talk about cost, in case of virtualization, the cost expenditure is definitely going to be high. Okay, only the operating expenses is going to be less, because you don't need someone to operate. You don't need people to work over it. You just have to create a VM. You have to create virtual machines, and you can just share with them, and you can use it for a long time. In case of cloud computing, if you're talking about a private cloud, then in that case there is going to be high capital expenditure, as I've already discussed before, because here you have to manage each and everything. The resources has to be managed, the applications has to be managed, everything has to be done on your end, because you are designing your own cloud. Okay, you are designing your own services, so everything has to be managed from end to end by you. That is where the expenditure is going to be high there. If you talk about operating expenses, that is going to be less, because you're going to decide that you want just you as one to handle the entire cloud. So here you don't need much people, because you know in and out about your cloud, how you have managed, how you have configured. So you can decide that operating will be done by whom. Then in that case, you can lower your operating cost, but your expenditure cost is definitely going to be high, because you're going to take care of each and everything while designing the private cloud. In case of public cloud, there is going to be low capital expenditure, because already the cloud is being set up, already the thing is ready, it is in place. But the operating expenses is going to be high, because now you have to hire people to take care of that. So here your operating expenses will be definitely high. Okay, scalability, if I talk about, virtualization is easy to scale up. You can easily add, or you can easily do changes to the existing virtualization techniques, or you can say virtualization mechanisms which you have. In cloud computing, it is scale out. Okay, scale out here simply refers that you cannot move, you cannot make much changes. If it is a private cloud, then definitely not. Okay, but if it is a public cloud, then if it allows it, then you can do it. That is possible. Workload, it is stateful here, it is stateless here. So your stateful simply refers that the workload which is there, it is going to be properly managed across the VMwares. Okay. If I talk about stateless, here there is no, you can say, fixed workload or fixed work architecture which will be divided. As per the cloud, some clouds will have more workload, some clouds will have less workload. Depending on what these resources are being asked by the consumer, accordingly the load will be keep on changing. So you cannot expect that the load will be balanced across the cloud. This is not possible. Next, we have is tenancy. Here is single tenancy and here is multi-tenancy. So tenancy is nothing but that how many group of users are going to have an access to that particular software, that refers to tenancy. Okay, no doubt you are going to give different privileges to the different users. Like admin will give given the right to see everything. Others will just be able to see the things which they are working with. So that is referred as tenancy. So in virtualization, there is single tenancy. Only one person will, one user will be allowed to have an access to the virtualized machine. In cloud computing, there can be multiple tenancy, because if it is public cloud, though definitely there are going to be multiple group of users who are going to have an common access to piece of data. So here you will have your multiple. So that is all about your virtualization and cloud computing. Then we are moving to the next topic. So next we have what are the pros and cons of virtualization. So you can see the pros and cons. The pros are something which are in red and the cons are something which are in blue. Okay. So if I talk about pros which are there, first we'll start with that. Hardware independent, operating system independent, fast recovery, live backup, migrate data, reduce hardware, run multiple operating systems simultaneously, cost savings, use of multi-core processors, system security, test and development. These are the pros. Cons, which is downside, limitations, you can say other words, less efficient, unstable performance, tools lack ability, rapid deployment, latency of virtual disk, backup and data sets, security issues, hardware compatibility issues, managing and securing is difficult. So this is a complete, you can say, and pros and cons of virtualization, that what is the positive side of this virtualization and what is the negative side. So we'll move to the next. So next we have is technology example. So far whatever we have studied, okay, now we are going to understand that concept by taking some technological examples, and that will help us to understand the concept in more better way. So in technological examples, we are going to look into some cloud infrastructure mechanisms. Okay. The first is logical network parameter. Second is virtual server. Third is cloud storage device. Fourth is cloud usage monitor. Fifth, resource replication. Sixth, ready-made environment. Okay, so these are some of the cloud infrastructure mechanisms which are also called as technological examples, because whatever we have studied so far, some of the concept have been applied here. Okay, that is why they are called as technological examples. So we'll start with the first. So the very first is logical network parameter. Okay, so if I talk about logical network parameter, it simply refers that all your network environment are going to be isolated from the different communication networks, from different logical networks which are there, and which will help you to have the virtual network boundaries. Okay, so basically you are isolating a group of services, you can say in other words, and you are going, that are usually termed as physical services or physical distribution. Okay, so basically there, whenever you are isolating these services, you usually refer represented with the dash line. You can see over your screen, that is a dash line. Okay, so mostly this type of mechanism is implemented in your IT infrastructures, where you want to isolate IT resources in the cloud from non-authorized users, where you want to isolate IT resources in the cloud from non-users, isolate IT resources in the cloud from cloud consumers, control the bandwidth that is available to isolated IT resources. Okay, so basically, logical network parameter means what, you are going to divide your networks logically. Okay, you're going to isolate different network environments from rest of the communication networks. Okay, and with this logical network, you're going to You can say connect a virtual network boundary, and with that you are going to provide different cloud based services or resources to your consumers. So whenever you want to have some sort of security in the cloud, whenever you want to protect your resources or services from other users, in that case you can use this, where you're going to divide your networks into different small logical structures or small parameters, and with this you are going to give access to different people, and accordingly they are going to have an access to the resources. Okay, so whenever you're uh, using this logical network parameter, you can either establish with the help of different network devices which are there, or you can take the help of data centers. Okay, or you can deploy them as just one IT environment. Okay, where you can have your virtual firewall also. So firewall will basically help you to filter the traffic which is coming in and which is going out. So with this you can even have an control over the interactions which is happening with the internet. Because if we talk about network, you cannot take care of each and everything. So you need to have a firewall. You need to have some mechanism which will help you to let you know. So with this logical network parameter, you are isolating the network environments from other communication networks, and with that you are going to give different services to the different people. Okay, so you can have this mechanism when you want to protect your resources from other users and you want them to implement isolately. Okay, so that is your logical network parameter.